Welcome back as the scene is set for a great second moto here with the 125 action. A record crowd on hand at Delmont, Pennsylvania for the matchup between Langston and Brown.
It is great to be here with a true motocross legend, Grant Langston. Grant, I just want to say it's been really nice getting to know you this year. You did a wonderful job on Best in the Desert, and it's always great listening to you on the motocross series. You do a wonderful job.
I appreciate it. Best in the Desert, obviously I'm not the actual expert on that, but I've always loved racing and had a passion for it and followed it and had a chance to be in a truck, be in a buggy, be in a UTV. So I think that always helps a little bit, but getting to work with you makes it easy, and it's fun. I enjoy it. Like I said, maybe don't know all the technical stuff on these shocks and things like that, but I enjoy it a lot. Then obviously with motocross, it ties in with the whole Lucas Oil family, and I thought the outdoors, considering how 2020's been, it really was quite remarkable what Lucas Oil, Pro Motocross, and the whole series were able to put together and have those 9 rounds without any hiccups and just absolutely great racing. It was an honor and fun to be in the booth for that as well.
It really was. What a phenomenal series. Congratulations to them. And something I got to ask you about. When they told me this year I'm working with Grant Langston, I always think back. I'm a Pittsburgh boy. We used to end the series in Steel City. One of the most exciting battles I have ever seen in my life in points is between a man named Grant Langston and Mike Brown, 2001. That was so exciting.
Brown has had to come from behind all season long. Grant Langston 6 points ahead, needs to finish third or better to win that championship. Mike Brown's going to need some help if he's going to pull off the third greatest comeback in 125 history after being down 59 points at the midway point of the season.
What do you remember about that championship battle?
Well, what was funny is coming into the season, everyone was saying, can anyone beat Pastrana? And I showed that early on. So in the beginning, it was more like Travis and myself. Then between me injuring my shoulder and Travis knocking himself out, Mike Brown ripped off a couple of wins and put himself in the championship battle. But going to Steel City, obviously it was still, relatively close, but I think I had a 12-point lead coming in, even after missing a round with my shoulder injury. So I felt pretty good. I knew what I had to do to get it done.
Definitely got his heart rate up where it needs to be to start this race.
Fonseca and Ramsey between the two contenders. Brown you see there and Langston right under us. We're off and running for a championship.
See, Langston tried to cut over to the left. I think he was a little bit off balance.
It's Boniface. Steve Boniface, 5:31. The Frenchman is out in front. Way in third. There's Brown. And there's Langston finally. Langston's got a couple of riders to get through to get back up to Brown. Oh, this could be an interesting championship finale. Brown goes down. Whoa, that changes the complexion.
That could be it right there. Already 6 points down. And Langston is up front. Brown's probably about mid-pack, I'd guess, right there. Those guys are concerned. This is a gift for Langston. All he's got to do is just stay on the bike. He's got a 6-point lead. He should feel pretty safe right now. Brown is coming up from the back. You got some guys letting guys by. It's a weird moto right now, and I'm not sure how this is going to play out. But if you're Langston, you got to feel pretty confident. Look at the way Langston is attacking Ramsey here, and you wonder, like, geez, why does he got to try so hard to take these chances right now with Brown back in the pack? Well, you take more of a chance by staying here and riding carefully with Brown coming through the pack like a madman. The more positions he can pick off, the harder he's going to make the job for Brown. Again, see if he does wave. Yeah, he does.
It looked like that left hand was out there waving him on.
So that was a smart move psychologically on Brown's part back in Troy by kind of making friends with all that, going, hey, that's just racing. Doesn't look gnarly to Brown. It just looks like he wished this moto was going to be an hour long so he'd have time to catch up.
Rickey Carmichael, though, leads this one with Grant Langston hoping to nail down a championship. Grant Langston now trying to make a move for second place on Boniface and just blows right by him.
Langston can feel Brown catching up now, so he realizes he needs to get by, get into second, and start chasing Rickey.
Right there, but Brown has an easy pass of it. That sets up a confrontation between rivals. Langston in second place.
Look at the crowd react. They can sense a real battle here.
Still, Mike Brown would need some help. That's the interesting question.
Yeah, even if Brown is able to get around and Carmichael was to slow down for some reason and put himself between those guys, that would only be 5 points, I'm pretty sure, and still Langston would have his championship by a point. He needs a lot of help.
Still is a battle going on, and there is a question whether Mike Brown would leave Grant Langston upright.
Well, Grant's looking around. He's looking at the back wheel, though. Kind of wobbly looking. That looks like maybe...
Whoa, Brown makes a pass, and Grant Langston did not make a mistake there. He just slowed down.
I thought he had mud on one side of the tire. Sometimes it looks funny, but something doesn't look right there. He looked at the rear wheel.
Is it a flat? Oh, my goodness. And he's really picking up big time on Grant Langston. Something's wrong with Langston's bike.
We still don't have an exact ounce of exactly what happened, but the nipples on that hold the spokes in started splitting. We believe it might have been a bad batch, and then when the spokes started coming, they were popping out one by one, and eventually the rear wheel was just coming apart. I remember in the beginning I thought I had a flat, and I figured this sucks, but I knew it was late enough in the race and there was enough of a gap between riders behind that I had enough points. I thought I was going to be okay. And then I realized it's not a flat tire. Like, I could feel the whole wheel just really, it felt like I was riding on an egg.
And we'll see if we get a good look. We got a good shot of the wheel now, and it doesn't look like the tire's flat. That wheel is destroyed. Oh, you know what? He's not going to be able to finish this moto. That thing's coming apart. You see him trying to just take it easy over those jumps. There goes Jessamine, so that puts him back to 4th.
Oh, this has got to be a heartbreaking situation right now.
This is the championship, Art. That wheel's coming apart, and as those spokes break, eventually he will have a flat tire.
And I knew it was coming apart, and I remember trying everything I could, including not doing the big jumps, trying to land on the front wheel on some of the landings, to do everything I could to prevent that wheel from disintegrating. But unfortunately, with about a lap and 3/4 to go, she gave out.
I'd be wondering if he jumps this, he's not going to do it. He doesn't go for the double jump. He can feel something wrong. He's known it for half a lap now. I've broken wheels before, and as soon as you start to feel it, you only get a couple of laps. Look at Brown right there, a fist pump in the air. He knows he's got this championship starting to sink in now. He's got a feel for Langston. This is just unbelievable. Who would have thought?
There's Langston's bike, idle. Let's go back to Davey.
Right there you see Langston's girlfriend Samantha, beside him his manager Bob Moore. This is a picture, guys, looks so familiar. It's what we saw at the Houston Supercross when Grant fell down the last lap. This time the pain, the bad luck is so much worse. This time it cost him a national championship.
I know he's probably not thinking about it right now, but he did everything he could do, David.
At the time, it was devastating. Obviously, it felt like the world had stopped turning in my eyes. So it was definitely hard at that time. But people say, does it still affect you to this day, or have you ever gotten over it? And I think I can say yes, because 2 years later, or in 2002, I was injured, but then in 2003, I was able to come back and win that championship. I think had I not done that, it would have still been a bit of a sore spot in the heart. But after getting that title, it kind of helped ease that pain a little bit.
Definitely, for sure. You were able to get it done on the championship side. And does it bring any solace that I'm a perfect example? Look, I was a young kid. I remember you because of how incredibly heated and exciting that battle was. To be a part of that, even though it didn't go your way, is it something that you look back and it's fulfilling?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I guess it's a double-edged sword on that one. You know, when you don't win the title, you never feel like you accomplished everything, or you feel like there was still a little bit left out there. But you know, like I say, time heals everything. You know, fast forward, we're almost 20 years down the road. It's cool when people talk about the enjoyment and how exciting that season was, and the ups and the downs, and you know, there's no love lost between the three of us as far as the when we're on the track. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Mike Brown and Travis Pastrana. I think they're both great guys, and we're friends now. But at that time, we hated each other. We wanted to beat each other very bad. We made it pretty open and known. And I think the fans enjoyed, because they saw the rivalry, they saw the intense racing, and people still talk about it. And I think that's cool that at least it, you know, I feel like I helped make a little mark on that series. But as I said, I would have loved it to turn out a little differently, but overall, it's cool to have that little piece of history.
It was a thrilling broadcast, and two quick things I got to ask you about the show. Back then, there was this young, talented reporter named Davey Coombs. He was down on the starting gate, and he said, boy, it's getting intense between Grant and Mike Brown.
Guys down the starting gate, as we saw at the end of the first moto, tempers a little high between number 100 Mike Brown, number 111 Grant Langston. Remember, Langston only needs a third if Brown wins.
What do you remember about before that race started?
Well, after the first moto, Mike Brown and I had battled, and we crossed the finish line. He flipped me off, and
so it was really that legit.
Yeah, and when you're heated, and I didn't think there was any reason for it, so I forget exactly, but I rode up into him, and I think I just had my visor in his goggles, and I gave him a few choice words of what I thought about him at that moment, which I can't repeat. A couple F-bombs in there, as you can imagine, but I told him what I thought. You know, when we went to the line, there was no love lost whatsoever. Like, I hated him at that moment. But I think as a competitor, you use that as motivation to beat people. And yeah, I think that the intensity on the line was the mechanics didn't like each other. There'd been altercations in the pits. Basically, the Red Bull KTM team, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team, no one liked each other from either side. And you could feel it, I think, when it came to the line. The mechanics didn't like each other. They were pushing bikes in the way of each other, stealing starting gates, changing. I remember when the final moto, when Brown picked his spot, I remember KTM had two of our teammates parked next to him. They had a rider from Pro Circuit parked next to me. So it definitely got a little intense at the end there. But a lot of championships do get that way when it comes down to the very end.
Something David Bailey said too, I got to ask you about, is after you had your unfortunate ending and you dropped out, Mike Brown let somebody around so that Carmichael would get the overall and get the record. David Bailey said he may regret that 10 years from now.
Brown's looking back. He's saying go by. Jessamine goes by. Rickey Carmichael might get that record in the last lap now.
He will. He's definitely going to get it. Brown's going to get the title. I can understand how he would. They're friends. They've been training together, riding together. Brown is so happy he just got this championship. He doesn't care about the overall. He's figuring, why not do his friend a favor? But, you know, Art, 10 years from now, he may regret that.
We know the legacy of Carmichael. He's the GOAT. He's got it. But a guy like Mike Brown, who had an opportunity to win that day, do you think he may regret that?
Well, I think one of the reasons, obviously, that he did that is I think he felt that Rickey helped him so much to win that championship by Rickey taking him under his wing, living with him, training in Florida, that was the least he could do to thank Rickey. It was Brandon Jessamine that he actually let by because...
That's right. Another Pennsylvania boy.
Yeah, so the way the points would have worked out, if Brown had got second, he would have got the overall, but when he pulled over, Rickey got the overall because Rickey was third in the first motor behind us. So I think for Mike Brown, it was one of those things, when you go to a race thinking the title's a long shot and you win it and now you have a chance to help your buddy that helped you get there, I think that's the main reason. That's why Rickey dropped down, was to hopefully get that overall and be the winningest 125 rider, which he did get and held for a while until James Stewart came along and took that crown away from him.
They've done well for themselves. Well, Grant, this has been a really fun trip down memory lane. Thank you so much for the history. And hey, if anybody needs a bike, you're right here in Southern California with a dealership, guys. This is the man to buy a bike off of if you can find one right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, things have been great. I mean, 2020 has been a really crazy year, but as far as the motorcycle industry goes, it's been unbelievable, to say the least. I think people have taken social distancing to levels that I didn't expect, which includes buying razors and side-by-sides, dirt bikes, quads, and going out and having fun. And it's been cool. And obviously, with factories being shut down, there's a bit of a supply issue, but things are moving in pretty quickly, and people are getting their toys for this holiday season.
Confrontation between rivals. Langston in second place. This championship run, you didn't know what to expect. It kept everyone guessing until the final lap.
I want to thank Grant Langston so much for taking the time. Make sure you check him out on the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Series, also on Best in the Desert. And if you like stories like this, if you like memories, make sure you subscribe and share. And if you like videos like this, here's another one for you.